So I'll start from really when I first learned about real estate. So I was in college. It was spring of my senior year. This is like February, March of 2022. I kid you not, I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across someone, I swear, and I came across someone who was talking about wholesaling real estate. And I'm like, I've never heard of this concept before. So my aunt, who's a broker on the east side of Michigan, I called her. I said, hey, I just saw this on TikTok. Like, is this real? Like, how does this work? Is this like being a real estate agent? She's like, no, it's different. Like, it's mostly on the real estate investment side. So I like went down YouTube University. Like, I'm watching YouTube videos. Like, I'm trying to learn everything I could associated with this concept. So I was driving for dollars, writing down addresses, trying to find the, shittiest house in the nicest neighborhood. So my aunt had a connection in Grand Rapids, so that's how I ended up moving here. I worked for a company, 1099. This is July of 2022 is when I graduated. And I was a 1099 employee. Kid you not, I had $3,000 in my bank account. Like, I just graduated college. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So I was an acquisition manager for JTK Property Solutions. Shout out Joel Cook. He was awesome. I learned a lot in real estate just through him. So what an acquisition manager is we're responsible for dealing with sellers, negotiating properties, getting properties under contract, walking houses, putting together rehab budgets. And I had this house in Wyoming, Michigan, that I walked, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty sweet property. There's some great comps. And I was like, okay, there's a couple buyers who I knew we were probably going to sell that contract to. We got them through, and they're like, yeah, you know what? We're not interested. And I'm like, this is a good deal. I'm like, I don't know why anyone's not buying this thing. So I went to the owner of the company. I said, hey, if I can raise the money for this deal, and I was 22 at the time, I said, hey, if I can raise the money for this deal, would you could I just buy it with what I got it locked up for? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So I go to our dispo agent, Amber, and she was probably upper 30s, maybe 40. And I said, hey, do you want to come flip this house with me? And she's like, yeah, well, how are we going to get the money? And I just started calling people in my network. Like, I called my uncle, I called my parents. I was calling, I'm like, hey, can you hook me up with this person? Like, I know they're a financial advisor. Maybe they have some money they could lend me. So I was just like hustling, just grinding, just trying to find someone who would give me the money. So I called my uncle, and he's like, yeah, I'd be interested in it. And so I said, okay, let's schedule a call. So I had all the photos from the house we walked, put down the rehab budget of what I thought we were going to spend. I'm like, here are all the comps. Like, I think this is a good deal. Would you lend me $160,000? And he's like, yeah, we'll do it. So I think I paid him 10% interest on his money and 10% of the net profit on it as well. So I got the house under contract for $115,000. I got a loan with him for $160,000. So the difference was the rehab budget. And I was the one swinging the hammer. And so I fixed that house up and we sold it, and we made $62,000.
Wow.
At 22, using all other people's money to flip my very first house. And so that's when I got my first taste of, okay, I can use other people's money to buy real estate. And yeah, here we are to this day.
That's insane.
So that's how I got started.